So there's the thumbnail, and we go ahead and run the intro. So I got something to cut to. And there we go. So, sorry about that, guys. Had to do a little bit of housekeeping, but good morning. So, today's story is The Enemy at the Gate. We are in Georgia. I've made no secret about that. All the times we've talked about the evils and dangers of doxing, I've made no bones about. My name is Christopher. I live in Georgia. I don't generally get much more specific than that, but I'm not exactly hiding either. So today, Joe Biden and basically President Dumbshow and Vice President Spitroast are headed to Georgia to talk about voter rights. And what an absolute just shit show these guys have been. So we're going to take a look at this this article from The Intelligencer from New York Mag, just because this is them, and they're being critical of their own administration, really. Who is Biden's big Georgia voting rights speech really for? Let's spin that up a little bit so y'all can read it along with me. As part of the Democrats' big voter right push, which is expected to culminate in Senate votes on the Freedom to Vote Act, President Biden, accompanied by Vice President Kamala Harris in an unusual roadshow twofer, is traveling to Atlanta today for a big speech on the subject. Given the extremely limited odds of legislative success on voting rights in the Senate, so long as Republicans filibuster and 2 Democrats oppose filibuster reform, it's appropriate to ask what Biden hopes to accomplish with this address. There are, it's apparent, 3 different audiences he's trying to reach. Voting rights advocates and the voters they represent. Okay, so voting rights advocates in the state of Georgia are largely led by Stacey Abrams. And if you're not familiar, Stacey Abrams is totally the governor of Georgia because she really, really didn't miss it by this much. Because unlike the freest, fairest, and safest election of all time that elected Joseph Robinette, the most popular president in American history with more votes than are available in the census, Stacey Abrams is totally allowed to scream and cry that her election was stolen from her. For some reason, that kind of claim, much like Hillary claiming repeatedly and continuously, even today, as recently as within the past week or so, that the 2016 election was stolen by the Russians. Those are totally acceptable. The funny thing about both of those narratives is, unlike any suspicions harbored quite reasonably about the 2020 fiasco, Stacey Abrams' claims and Hillary Clinton's claims have both been investigated and proved to be false. Not only proved to be false, but in both cases proved to involve the claimant, i.e. Hillary or Stacey, respectively, have implicated the claimants in the fabrication of the evidence related to the claims. Right? That is to say that, yes, Hillary Clinton's campaign paid to craft the so-called Russian disinformation and interference, which was investigated by her friends that worked at the various departments of government over which she was nominally in charge for quite a period. To suggest that to suggest after the largest election, because this we do know for sure, the 2020 election was the highest election turnout in U.S. history. At least on paper by the numbers. And we know that to be the case largely because it just happened to be a census year last year. And so we had shiny new census data against which to compare that voting data. And it's completely besides the point that there were a little more than 4.5 million more voters, or I'm sorry, 4.5 million more votes counted than voters recorded by the census. That said, for these guys to come down here and make the claims that they're making, the voting rights advocates and the voters they represent, Stacey Abrams has been implicated in a half a dozen or more individual, separate voter fraud scams in the state of Georgia, which needs to be said here because I'm not making any claims whatsoever about the freest, fairest, and most safe election of all time. The voter fraud scams in which Stacey was implicated were unrelated to, and in fact predated by several years, the freest, fairest, and safest election in history. But President Dumbshow and his Spitroast are headed down to Georgia looking to make a deal. Biden's most urgent task is to convince his party's progressive base, most particularly voting rights advocates and non-white voters, Let's be very clear about the progressive agenda here. President Dumbshow's pet spit roast is only vice president because she is a woman of color. That is not my opinion. That's not me looking at her and saying, oh, here's a woman of color who's ascended to the second highest office in the land. And I, a grossly racist, straight white guy, can only assume that it's impossible for somebody like that on the merits to ascend to the second highest office in the land. No, it's not that. It is that Joe Biden said explicitly that for no other reason than her color and gender, Joe Biden said that my vice president will be a woman of color. Let's be clear on something here. That's a crime under federal law. Okay, you can get away with being a racist and making racist decisions under federal law by just screening enough people that you get the color you want on the merits. And it's very hard to fight that. But when you come out and you hang up a sign that says, white man need not apply, that is no different than hanging a sign that says, no chicks, or no, whites only. You hang up that sign as part of your application process, and you are in violation of federal law. Now, I don't personally agree with that law. If I had my way, every free American would be perfectly within his rights to discriminate on race, gender, color, whatever basis he wished to discriminate on. Because we do have, in theory, or at least we did, the freedom of association. Right? And it's not because I want to open a Nazi bar. It's because I want to know where the Nazis are. Right? It's not because I want to open or I want to see a barber shop that has only black barbers and only serves black clients. It's that I want to know who goes there. I want to see who those people are. And more importantly, if you're the sort of a person that wants to run that business, I want to know that so that I can spend my money somewhere else. Right? If you're the sort of a person that makes it a point to boycott conservative companies with conservative leanings, and goes out of your way to make sure that the money that I spend with you goes to causes with which I would prefer not to engage, and certainly, let alone, fund. I want to know that, right? This is why I don't eat Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Because I'm not a communist. Which breaks my heart. It breaks my damn heart, right? I've been to the Ben & Jerry's factory. It was 25 some years ago, but I went to the big Ben & Jerry's facility in Vermont. It's a beautiful farm. They actually had tie-dyed cows when I was there, which was awesome. And by that I mean they had a herd of cattle, the good old like classic American black and white cattle. And they had dyed the cows, so they were purple and green and blue and yellow and orange with black spots. Just wandered around the field, and you went in the gift shop and they sold cow patties, which was basically like they melted a bunch of chocolate and nuts and marshmallows and all that stuff together, and then let it flop out on a piece of wax paper so it looked like a big old cow turd. And it would be absurd and obnoxious in literally any other context. But as a tongue-in-cheek joke in that particular context, it was hilarious. The ice cream was delicious. I enjoyed that trip. I still have fond memories of that particular trip. But now they're a bunch of woke-ass commies, and I'm just not going to have any of it. So I take my ice cream business to more reputable establishments, like the Sweet Depot in Old Town Conyers, for example. And there, for you EEI collectors, is another clue. I hope you're building a good sight picture, because you're going to need it. Now, so today I have contracts where I'm going to have to go through, and I'm going to spend time today staring at the traffic generated by President Dumbshow and his Spitroast. And that just shatters my heart. According to the intelligence, the voting rights advocates and the voters they represent, despite fears that he has sacrificed voting rights to other priorities like the Build Back Better package, which has been a disaster and is being rightfully revoked or rebutted and just blocked. Thank your gods that the Build Back Better package is failing. He has not yet made it publicly clear, for example, that he unambiguously favors the serious filibuster reforms necessary to overcome Republican obstruction in the Senate on legislation. Okay. There is only one reason that anybody ever cries to shut down the filibuster. It happens every couple of years. We hear somebody cry about how the filibuster is not fair or reasonable or equitable or what have you. And it's as simple as, hey, how'd your sports ball go?
It went excellently.
That appears to be an unqualified victory.
Yes. Oh, good. I actually wanted to talk about this morning.
Oh, good, because I designed a great thumbnail for it, which failed to publish. We had some technical issues. Everything went badly. I'll fix it later. I'll fix it in post.
Hey, have you already talked about the fact that Stacey Abrams is going to ghost the president while he's in town over her signature issue? Dude,
I'm so glad you got here, because this escaped me. Okay.
She has a scheduling conflict that can't be avoided.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to need more information here.
Well, there's not more information, because she's not going to admit that, President Biden is so toxic, he might actually hurt my chances at becoming governor of the state of Georgia, so I'm not going to show up, even though the president is in town. Yeah.
Oh, good. Fox News has an article about this. Hopefully they speculate wildly. I love wild speculation. By the way, I just kind of got rolling. Had a pretty good show without you. But, and I don't mean that as a slight. I mean, despite not having you here, I still
You
have
do
a
the
pretty
best
good
you
show.
can, yeah.
But, I do pretty fucking good. Ooh, that's my F-bomb. I made it all the way here without an F-bomb. Son of a bitch. I love you, Mom. So, Steve's here. Steve drew first blood. Good morning. Scrimshaw's here. Good morning, Scrimshaw Rose. Corvo Bianco Nero. Buenos dias, jefito. Jamie Wilbanks, my man. And Scott McClish. I think I've seen you in our chat before, but not recently and not nearly frequently enough. So I hope you'll become our newest subscriber and join us on every weekday morning at 0730 for the Brushfire Mind. Most especially
Firearms Friday.
Damn right, Firearms Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Hurrah! I know, Dad. It's hua. It's hua. We're not bullet sponges. We are professional steely-eyed murder machines. We don't catch them. We're pitchers, not catchers.
Oh.
Yeah, the Marine Corps says hoorah.
No, I'm tracking. It just you took it to the pitchers and the catchers thing, and I'm like, I just got here, and you're trying to get us thrown off.
We're marksmen, not targets. Yeah, pitchers and catchers is way funnier.
Okay.
I need to tell my brother that one.
Man, I'm glad
I'm sorry, Mom.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
Stop. God, this is what Okay. All right.
Well, he's a Cav Scout.
No, look. Stacey Abrams is gonna ghost the president.
Yes. So Stacey Abrams is going to ghost the president, and so am I, because holy crap, is traffic going to be a pain in the ass all through Atlanta today.
Excuse me.
Republicans seized on a report that Stacey Abrams, the influential Georgia Democrat voting fraud enthusiast, gubernatorial candidate, and all-round politician, will miss President Biden's important voting rights speech Tuesday due to a scheduling conflict. No, I give Stacey a bunch of crap about being a big girl. I do. It's fair to say that. But in fairness, I've lost quite a bit of weight, and I mean, just look at that blue GP medium she's draped over herself. Good Lord, woman! Where do they even sell those tents?
Well, you didn't even make it to like the second paragraph of the article there.
No, I needed fat jokes. Fat jokes are good for you. So, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. There's bad, and then there's gubernatorial candidate in a state you carried cancels on you bad. Ben Williams, an advisor for former Trump chief of staff Mark Meadows, tweeted.
Ooh, I wonder if she got the coof.
No.
I don't wish the coof on her. I just, maybe.
No, we know why she canceled. Like, all the politicians have access to the same polling data you and I do. In fact, they have access to more.
Oh, I know. A little.
He retweeted a post from New York Times reporter Nick Coransante, who cited an Abrams aide. The reason for the scheduling conflict was not clear. Sure. An Abrams aide confirmed reports and told Fox News she had a conflict, but expressed the candidate's support of the president. The idea that a candidate for
governor... You know what a great way to support your president is?
This one? Buy him some Depends. Oh. Also good. Yes. The idea that a candidate for governor would miss a meeting with the president that carried the state seemed almost incomprehensible for some on social media. Excuse me.
Right, and I mean, it wouldn't be as surprising if he hadn't carried the state.
Yeah. No, it would. Okay. Matt Whitlock, a Republican...
And we should in no way interpret this to be a confession to that assent.
Matt Whitlock, a Republican communicator, tweeted, "Still can't get over this. How toxic does Biden have to be for Stacey Abrams to be like, sorry, I have other plans for an event about her signature issue?"
Now, in fairness, Joe Biden said that his vice president, as I was talking about earlier, that his vice president would absolutely be a woman of color. And Stacey's a little bitter about that. Because, I mean, I don't know if y'all remember when he said that, but she sure enough thought it was going to be her.
The Times report pointed out that Biden's speech on Tuesday in Atlanta will be missing other notable individuals besides Abrams, who the paper pointed out supported the event in a Twitter post. Yeah, but are any of them running for governor?
Nope.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. James Woodall, the former president of... And besides, other notable individuals? I mean, that could be anybody. Right? That could be actors or... That
could be me.
Well, no, I'm not gonna make the joke.
I'm not gonna be there.
But I'm just saying, notable individuals. I mean, that could be business leaders or. Yeah. I mean, okay. James Woodall, the former president of the NAACP, told the Times there is no need for more speeches. Wait. Now the NAACP says no more speeches? Gosh, that's convenient timing.
Well, see, the NAACP, by virtue of their very own bylaws and rules of procedure, are on the other side of this law.
Yeah, we don't need any more photo ops. We need action, and that it actually is in the form of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act as well as the Freedom to Vote Act, and we need that immediately, he told the paper. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Up late. Yay, go Georgia. Biden will be in Georgia with Vice President Kamala Harris to make his pitch to the American people. They will visit Ebenezer Baptist Church and place a wreath at the crypt of Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife, Coretta Scott King. Oh, God, I hate that kind of pandering. It just makes me sick. The president will forcefully advocate for protecting the most bedrock American. God, that picture of Chucky is...
it looks like his mask's about to jump off his face like a rubber band gun.
It's like his own mask. It's like, Chuck you, no!
Let me go!
God, there's old man breath, and then there's Chuck Schumer old man breath. Just stop it.
Those poor straps just aren't doing any work at all. It's basically gummed in with his denture paste.
Yep. The president will forcefully advocate for protecting the most bedrock American right, the right to vote. That, sure. Not freedom of speech or assembly or the right to keep and bear arms. No, the freedom to vote is the most bedrock.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's enough of that.
Let's touch on this for a minute. You do not have a right to vote. There is no right to vote. Voting is a procedure. The rules of voting are set forward by the states in accordance to the Constitution. The idea of a right to vote is not even mentioned in the Constitution until the 13th Amendment. And then again in the 19th Amendment. Right? In the 13th Amendment it says it can't be based on color, and in the 19th Amendment it can't be based on gender. And, of course, historically, you look back into 1929 when women were officially recognized as persons, and the Great Depression began. But the rule is, the fact of the matter is that there is no right to vote. Under the law, and this is reasonable, there are restrictions on who can vote. There was a time when you had to be a landowner to vote. And, there's evil white patriarchy, man. No, because just like the 100,000 illegal aliens that are about to get the vote in New York, and the several million criminal aliens in California who by the census afforded California an entire additional electoral college vote in the most recent election, which was the freest and fairest of all time.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And huge.
Yeah, no, Joe Biden's amazing.
It was just like North Korea. It was a huge election.
Okay. There's layers to that joke.
Just like that. Because they even slipped in a joke about frog dicks there. And Sergeant Major, pay taxes in cash, then vote. 100%. You know what? That's the one right there. Eliminate withholding. You pay your caches in tax. You walk up. This is one of Dad's ideas. You pay your caches in tax. That's right.
That's right.
You walk up with a wad of money to a tax collector who's wearing a jacket that says, tax collector, and you count it out. You count out all the money that you owe in taxes. And then you get a stamp on the receipt, and that receipt works like food stamps used to. You paid for that receipt, and you carry it over, and now you can vote. But without that tax receipt, you can't vote. I like that.
So while you were monologuing, I went ahead and finished the article. Apparently, the answer, somehow what went from Stacey Abrams ghosting Joe Biden turned into, we got to get rid of the filibuster to pass Joe Biden's agenda. Because I'm sure that's why Stacey Abrams ain't showing up, because the federal government won't get rid of the filibuster.
We're running over time now, so let me close on this. If the work of passing your legislation requires eliminating the strictures that were designed to prevent your legislation from passing, for example, it's not adequately popular to pass under the current rules, so your solution is we change the rules. It's like, for example, lowering the physical training requirements so that you can admit an additional gender to the armed services. If you can't do it under the current rules, there's a reason those rules were put there.
Look, and it's not like the Senate couldn't pass these things anyway. Remember, Obamacare was so ridiculously unpopular, it had to get passed through reconciliation. It also avoided the filibuster, but it avoided the filibuster without getting rid of the filibuster.
Right.
It used rules that were already in place. So, what does that say about how...
And then it had to be lied about in court.
So what does that say about the Biden agenda, that you can't even do that to get shit done?
Right. I mean, you can't get all your Democrats on the same page. They're in a blood cult, for God's sake.
Apparently not.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Cinema is all for abolishing all federal funding to Planned Parenthood.
No. I'm not talking about Cinema. I'm talking about.
Oh, Steve says the stream is broken. That's weird. It doesn't appear to be anything wrong on this end. All right, guys. We'll go ahead and button it up there because we're at time anyway. We love you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.